I always wanted to get into the worlds of Gothic, Risen, and Elex, but never really could. After 3 tries at Risen 1 and 2 at Elex, I started my second attempt at Risen 2. That's when I realised Piranha Bytes games hit a little differently to other modern RPGs. I was used to RPGs which held your hand in the beginning, having detailed maps and quest markers, NPCs being clearly labelled as quest givers, skill trees, XP points, and unlocking things at certain levels, and ways to really personalise your game, like character creation, or changing skins on gear to make it look how I wanted. These all seem like standard RPG fare nowadays, and some people may think a game needs these elements to be popular or fun. Playing Risen 2 made me realise there were other ways to RPG. It felt like a cross between old-style RPGs and the Monkey Island games, and not just because of the pirate theme. But let's look at the game on its own first. Oh, and don't forget to like and sub for more OK Gaming. We are a nameless hero who's part of the Inquisition and is asked to go undercover as a pirate in order to find a weapon to defeat a sea witch named Mara and her aquatic beast, the Kraken. We're completely stripped of our rank and gear to sell the idea that we've been kicked out of the Order and avoid suspicion from any pirates we meet. There are 4 elemental pieces we need to collect, and each one is held by different pirate captains.
Well spoken, but the Titan harpoon ain't just for killing the Kraken. A brave enough man could use it against Mara herself.
What do you know about the Titan harpoon?
I know who has it, and where to find it. That good enough? Those bastards Garcia and Crow have sided with Mara. For that, she gave Crow the Titan harpoon and Garcia the bone hand.
So it's Crow we want.
But what's with this we? You want him, you can do it yourself.
We go to different islands, meet and help out natives and pirates, do some puzzle solving, and learn new skills. Once we have all the pieces and we're strong enough, we can take on Mara and bring peace to the South Seas once again. How heroic! As people who have played Piranha Bytes games know, our character starts off with pretty much no gear, no skills, and is super weak in combat. This was the first shock to the system, as I was used to early enemies being pretty easy to fight, and finding new pieces of gear or weapons in order to survive a little longer. There was no hand-holding, and it felt like the game just forgot to leave me to wherever I was supposed to go next, when in reality, I was told by NPCs, and I just had to be a little more present during conversations, rather than half listen to their dialogue.
I say you've got yourself a messenger.
So here's the letter, and the gold. A pirate's den is somewhere on the island, probably to the northeast, and you should get yourself kitted out before you go.
The design of this game really did make me slow down and rethink how I was supposed to play. Usually I'd run in, hit everything I could to get XP, do all the side quests, and get better gear before moving forwards. Risen 2 makes you stop and assess things almost immediately. Who do I talk to? Where is the location they just mentioned? How do I get there? Who do I have to go back to when I finish? This really made me take my time and actually focus on the quest givers' locations and tasks, and even get to know the characters a little better through dialogue. It made the game feel like an actual adventure, with each area and island having memorable moments.
I'm looking for pirates, not termites.
Then you took a wrong turn. Can happen to anyone. There's a path will take you right to him, between the mountains, other side of the waterfall. It's northeast of here. Can't miss it. I'll just stay here with the termites.
An element of JRPGs that I noticed was to talk to everyone. Whenever I entered a new town, I would talk to all named NPCs, because that's the only way you know if they have a quest for you, or any important information. There are no floating icons over their heads, or hints in the objectives on who to talk to. So just get chatting. Then there's the puzzle solving aspect, reminiscent of point-and-click adventure games. You're given a task, and you have to remember who asked you, and keep it in the back of your mind as you explore. This may sound like a typical RPG, but sometimes you wouldn't leave town just to get a certain item. You would go rescue someone and accidentally find something, or a character has an item you need, so you have to think of ways to get it from them without alerting guards. This also makes it feel more linear than it really is. Well, more of a chain, as you have to do one task to move on to another, or talk to someone to get the next part of the quest. One early quest involved a pirate named Largo, and he needed us to help him break out of jail. He tells us about the storeroom and teaches us how to sneak so we can get in and grab some booty. Later, he asks us to help him out again by not only breaking him out of another jail, but to also collect some pieces of clothing for him, such as sneaking into the barracks, getting into a fight with a guard,
You're messing with the wrong man, lad.
Anything else to say now?
No.
Then I'll be taking that bandana.
or learning to pickpocket.
How about a grog?
Wouldn't say no. What? You about to buy me dinner too?
Not likely.
Just little puzzles within puzzles, something modern RPGs can miss.
If I'm lucky, I'll pass out soon.
We have quite a few dialogue options with some skill checks. We can intimidate, persuade, or use our silver tongue to move a conversation in a certain direction. The nice thing is, if we're not high enough in a certain skill, our character won't use that dialogue option. I like this because it prevented me from messing up a dialogue by saying something wrong and failing miserably. It also helped me remember what level certain skills were without having to check. Every skill or talent is earned by paying a trainer gold. We can't just increase our level and pick a perk. We have to visit a certain NPC and ask them to teach us things. There are levels of learning and prerequisite skills we must have before we can learn something. This is a little tricky to manage early on in the game, as we're poor and need gold to buy gear, but it gets a little easier later on in the game.
How do I get better with my saber?
Our main attributes are split into 5 categories: blades, firearms, toughness, cunning, and voodoo. Each attribute is then split into 3 talents, and these determine things like how much damage we can do with certain weapons, what level luck we can pick, or how much of a battering we can take. We upgrade each attribute by earning glory, which is the equivalent to XP points, and our talents increase with every upgrade. We can also use gear or items to increase our talents, so you can really specialize in something if you like it. The first companion we meet is Paddy, who is Steelbeard's daughter. Steelbeard is a legendary pirate who's cursed by Mara and is on his own mission to defeat her and her kraken. Paddy and later other companions will come with us and fight, or can heal us. They even throw in some quips when you're having conversations with other characters.
And you're afraid of a few termites?
Oh, great. I can see where this is going.
About that kitchen thing.
Over my dead body. Or yours. Okay. But remember, I'll get knives in this job.
We have access to a map only after we find or are given one. So we're just wandering blind until then, which kind of adds to the mystery of landing on a new island. The only markers we get are a blue arrow showing player location, orange X's marking quest givers once we've been given a quest by them, and red X's showing a quest location. The red X's don't always show up, so that's when you have to listen to directions or consult the journal for any details. I thought this was a terrible idea at first, and felt like the extra effort I had to put in would make things drag. But I found a sense of achievement, like I had actually worked to earn my reward. Reading the map and getting to locations by myself also made things more personal to how I wanted to play, or what I wanted to pay attention to. I could go wherever I wanted, without the game pointing out quest markers that I wasn't following at the time. If I got lost, finding my way back to town was satisfying. And yeah, there was fast travel, but it was very limited. It was there to save time walking across the island, but I still had to use the map to get where I wanted. We can also find treasure maps, the location of which will be marked on the main map. Once we get to the area, we have to find the exact spot to dig. Is this obvious enough, or should I keep looking? There are also legendary items to find, usually after we read about them in books.
This could be interesting. He woke up the next day with a hangover and his right boot missing. Since he remembered nothing, he searched for days with no luck. The next time he went on a drinking binge, he fell overboard near the west coast of Antigua and was lost. The remaining left boot is now supposed to be cursed. That's probably bollocks, but...
These give us permanent increases in attributes or traits, so they're always worth looking for. Combat is probably the weakest part of the game. We have to draw our weapon whenever we begin a fight, and we very slowly learn new skills, such as a stronger swing or a kick. I thought I could button mash my way through fights, but it turns out every button press has to be deliberate. Let me explain. When I wanted to kick an enemy, if I mashed the button, my character would end up just doing a one-legged can-can, so I'd have to wait for him to finish before I could actually start hitting things. We can use a slashing type sword or a piercing one, and the higher our skill in a particular trait, the more damage we do. We can also wield a pistol in our offhand, but I found it was a little laggy, and I kept shooting off into a bush rather than an enemy.
Used to be a cannoneer, mind.
let me guess, that's what blew your eardrums.
What colour, son? No, all I do is pistols.
I would like a pistol.
Well, why didn't you say? Reckon you're a bit slow, son. Is there someone who looks after you?
Gods give me strength.
There's loads of stuff to find in the world, not just in chests. We can pick herbs and flowers immediately, and once we find or buy certain tools, we can take more loot off wild animals, such as teeth. These can go towards crafting or voodoo later on, or you can just sell them to make some gold. There are loads of characters who'll buy and sell items too, but you'll only know once you talk to them and they mention they have items to trade. In the early game, selling all the random stuff you collect is an easy way to make gold, as you probably won't have enough coin to buy the crafting skills you need the materials for anyway. There are a few different types of crafting you can do in this game. You can brew potions, or make swords and pistols, among other things. I didn't fully experience the crafting, as I seemed to pick up all the potions I needed, and the weapons I used were always really good.
Can you teach me about smithing?
Yeah. Most important thing is water. Go get some.
I don't want to work for you. I want to forge my own blade.
What the hell's wrong with my blades? Just buy one. You want to make your own, you pay me like I made it, you hear?
You have to buy recipes or schematics in order to make anything. And I wasn't keen on spending my gold too quickly early on. I wouldn't say it's a strong element to the game, but it was there if you wanted to try it out. I really enjoyed this game, which was a huge surprise to me, considering I'd taken half a dozen times to get into any Piranha Bytes games.
You old fart.
Once I approached Risen 2 with a different mindset, stripping back everything I'd become used to in modern RPGs, I found a game that hooked me for hours. This is a game you should try if you're looking for a challenge, but still want the familiarity of certain modern RPG mechanics. Oh, and after riding high on this game, I went back to Risen 1.
More gold for me.
Nope, still definitely not a fan. This was fun. Let's do it again sometime. And if you like what you saw, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like down below.